Alright, this is going to be MLA Practice 2. You should have already done your MLA notes and your Practice 1 on Tuesday, so this is Wednesday, MLA Practice 2, and then you'll have one more MLA Practice 3 on Friday, and you're going to do that one all on your own. So we're going to start right here. There's no real numbers, but using the information below, write correct parenthetical citations for the example provided. A parenthetical citation, can't say that word today. Parenthetical citation is an in-text citation, so it's the one that's in the parentheses. So this is if we were writing and we use something from this author and now we're going to give a parenthetical. So what we're using is author's last name and the page number where we found it. In most cases if it's a book. So here we are, and this is our works cited page. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to use the works cited page to do it. He spoke to us in German and then left us behind. From Donaldson's Parenting on Watergate, page 45. So right here in this parenthesis, there we go. We're going to put in a text box, and we're going to type our parenthetical citation, and in this case it's going to be Donaldson 45. Change my text size here so it'll fit. Then we're going to try to stick it right inside of that parenthesis, if we can. Alright. Then let's do number 2. I never thought of myself as proud, says Jennings in his book, Pushing the Limits of Journalism. The source was located on page 107. Because we have the word Jennings here, we do not need to put it here, so all we need to do is put the number 107. And then we're done. Alright, try number 3 on your own, and then I'll give you the answer. Politics is such an interesting field, from Charles Smith's book, page 451. So take a moment, pause if you need to. If you need more time than this, go ahead and pause. If not, your answer should be Smith 451. Alright, and then you're going to do 4 and 5 on your own. Okay, so this is just about plagiarism. All you have to do is read it and answer the questions. Plagiarism is a big deal, especially in English class, because anytime that you don't cite your work and you're using someone else's words, and you're not giving them credit, you're plagiarizing. So, especially in English, it's a huge thing. You have to plagiarize. Oh my goodness, no. You have to cite your work so you don't plagiarize. So there are deliberate plagiarism. That's like buying another person's work. So saying, hey, I'll give you $20 if you write this paper for me. That's plagiarism. Misrepresenting sources. So concocting information or finding information in one source and then saying it was another. So especially if you're trying to write a paper and you can't find anything to support your sources, any sources to like support your reasons, and you say, well, Anderson said this, but it was really Smith that said that, but it doesn't fit in what you need to do, that's plagiarism. Or passing off their work as their own. I've had a lot of students in the past, when I give them a prompt, they'll plug that prompt into Google, grab the first thing that comes up, and claim it as theirs. That's plagiarism. Any act of deliberate plagiarism, especially in this course, this is something I pulled from someone else, but it will result in an F and a 0 grade recorded. And then you also have to do tutoring with me after school, or virtually in this case, where we talk about plagiarism, and you work on not plagiarizing. And then if you go through all of that, you have one chance to rewrite your entire paper for 50% credit. But if you don't choose to do that, then you just take your 0. Other forms of plagiarism would be submitting a paper written for another class or for another assignment. That's called self-plagiarism. So you have a paper, it's already been written, you don't want to go through and do the work again, so you just submit something you've already done in the past. That's self-plagiarism. And that's also, you can't do that. Allowing a friend to add to your paper. Feedback is okay, but all the words in the paper should be your own. So if they give you suggestions, you have to write those suggestions yourself, not just put them in. There is also non-deliberate acts of plagiarism that could result in a 0 grade. And that would be like if you're using your quotation, you're paraphrasing your summary, and then you don't use your citations. If you use no citations at all, you're probably gonna get a 0, or at least a huge chunk out of your grade, because you've been taught how to use the citations. If you forget 1 or 2, that's not as big of a deal, but we're talking like you just don't try at all. So this is just a checklist to help you know if you're avoiding your plagiarism. So you're going to do the plagiarism quiz, so questions 6 and 7. Alright, so here we are going to do 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to ignore this part here. We don't need that. Alright, so we're just going to do 8, 9, and 10. So, identify the forms of citation used for the passage below. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. Many a man believes himself to be the master of others who is no less than they a slave. How did this change take place? I do not know. What can make it legitimate? To this question, I hope to be able to furnish an answer. First, if this is your introduction, terrible, because you should not be using the word I ever in your paper. And to this question, I hope to furnish an answer. That is not a thesis statement. So if you're thinking that this is the introduction you're going to get away with, it's not. But we're just going to go ahead and use it. In an essay examining the relationship of human and society, Rousseau asserts that man is born free and everywhere he is in chains. Rousseau 57. Is this paraphrasing, a quotation, or a summary? So go ahead, pause if you need to, answer the question. And now we'll check your answer. This is B, a quotation. Number 9, Rousseau suggests that although they come into the world uninhabited, human beings find themselves universally oppressed. Rousseau 57. Is this paraphrasing, quotation, or a summary? Go ahead and pause. You can pause the video if you need to. Alright. This one is paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is when we say in a shorter segment what they had already said in a different quote. So it's not quite a summary. A summary would be of a whole piece. It's of a smaller piece, or like a chunk of a piece, a quote. But instead of directly quoting it, we're paraphrasing it. We're taking out the important bits and just telling you the important stuff. Alright, number 10. In his essay, The Origin of Society, Rousseau questions his observations of humanity, which indicate that a person's free nature and his or her actual social status are in conflict. Is this paraphrasing, quotation, or summary? Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Your answer is C, it's a summary. So, make sure you're going back. We did these, you should have already answered these on your sheet. Answers number 6 and 7. We did 1, 2, and 3 together, so you're going to do 4 and 5 on your own.